Welcome to today's episode of The Gravy Train. Today I have Russ Hughes, the co-founder of Intelligent Labs. Intelligent Labs, premium supplement brand, doing big things at the moment. Great to have you on, Russ. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me.
So before we start, you walked away from a career in tech. You moved to Thailand, and you've ended up with this global business. So maybe do you want to start at the beginning and kind of tell me about the journey?
That was not the plan. What's it? I did 2 degrees in computing, naturally led into working in tech. But I never really enjoyed it. It wasn't like my
Sure.
spark or my thing, but I was really good at it.
Yeah.
And it kind of paid the bills, so I carried on going. I did that for maybe 15 years. I know
Yeah.
it's cool. I worked on some interesting projects with really smart people.
Yeah.
But I was living in England, in Brighton, and it was a bit of a party town. So on the weekends, we'd kind of drink a bit too much and eat a bit too much. And it wasn't doing me or my health any good.
Sure.
And then I think it was 2013, I kind of hit absolute rock bottom. I was just sick every day, felt
Wow.
awful, depression, anxiety. I go to the doctors on a monthly basis, sharing my symptoms, and they were like, "We've got no idea what's going on."
Wow.
And that was probably during one of the most stressful periods of my work life. We were delivering like this huge global project. So I thought, okay, the stress is killing me. I'm going to do something I've always wanted to do, which was kind of live in a training kung fu monastery. So I did some research on the internet. What are my options? And I found a Muay Thai training camp in Thailand.
Yeah.
So I sold all of my stuff. Um, I got very drunk March 2014,
Okay.
paid on the American Express cards, one-way ticket to Thailand, and booked like 3 months at this place.
Wow.
Um, and that was the tickets were for the 1st of September.
Yeah.
So I spent the next 6 months planning, selling everything I owned, burning all my bridges, and then 1st of September, got a train up to, I think it was London Heathrow, and flew to Thailand to the unknown.
Wow. That's a major step, isn't it?
It was exciting. I had no idea what to expect, what to do, didn't know anyone that had done it.
Yeah.
But I did have a goal, which was to like sort out my health. I'd gained like 30 kilograms.
Yeah.
I was like super stressed. By this time, I was drinking every day.
Yeah.
So it was an option to completely reinvent myself, rebuild my entire life, and start from scratch again, I guess.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know what that was. So every morning I would train for an hour in Muay Thai with a private one-to-one teacher.
Yeah.
Then the rest of the day, I would spend reading like self-help books, the 4 Hour Work Week, um, building habits, all of that kind of stuff, for about 9 months.
Yeah.
And during that time, I started working on a supplement brand called Intelligent Labs. Uh, at the time, it was kind of like make money online was the kind of name of the game.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
that quickly span into building an online business. When I was there, I met a community called the Dynamite Circle, and they were instrumental in helping me develop personally and professionally and from a business perspective.
Yeah.
And I spent the year grinding basically Muay Thai every day, working on Intelligent Labs every day, and working on little bits of software to support the business. It was the absolute best time of my life.
Was it really? So moving on from I mean, obviously Thailand was a sort of life-changing period for you, I guess, a point of kind of reflection and a new start. But what was the gap you saw in the supplement market?
Well, at the time, we were a sports supplement brand. I was training with UFC fighters and Olympic athletes,
I'm with you.
and we thought, okay, let's launch the best, strongest omega-3 in the world.
Yeah.
It can help fight inflammation, so athletes can take it and they can train harder the next day. And it was a huge success. All the athletes I was training with loved it. We launched it and we were kind of profitable within like 4 to 6 weeks or something. It was an
Wow.
absolute boost.
That's
So
incredible.
that was the gap that we saw.
Yeah.
But when I was in Thailand, I fell sick again, like I did in the UK, and they diagnosed me with diabetes.
Oh, wow. Really?
And that kind of like changed my entire life,
Yeah, I
pretty
bet.
much. Um, so we started selling more and more products along the complementary health lines so that diabetics like me could take them to kind of help with our symptoms alongside our prescriptions. And then we audited the entire company. We phoned up every single customer we'd had in the first year, and we were asking them why they were taking our supplements.
Yeah.
You know, we still had a big bodybuilder on the front of our webpage,
Sure.
and a boxer. So it's like, how old are you? What sport are you doing? How are we helping you? And we weren't selling omega-3 to 20-year-olds doing MMA because they wanted to be in the next UFC. All of our customers were 60 plus. They'd heard about our brand from their doctors,
Okay.
and they
Wow.
were being recommended to buy our omega-3 to help with their long-term health conditions.
Because it was strong. Because it was stronger.
Yeah, well, fish oil has triglycerides in it that can help balance your HDL and LDL levels. And it can also help with other bits and pieces. Got to be careful what I say due to EU marketing claims. But there's a dozen different reasons doctors might prescribe omega-3 to someone to help with their health. And one of our USPs was all of our products were third-party tested by reputable laboratories.
Mhm.
And because of our lab results, the doctors trusted us and would recommend our products.
Yeah. Excellent. Go back to those early days. I mean, you mentioned earlier about you started with one thing and then kind of moved into another. I suppose the obvious question is like, was there any kind of plan, or did it just evolve?
My plan was to try and scrape together 140 grand, buy a flat in Portsmouth, rate it out, and then live in Chiang Mai for the rest of my life on 10 grand a year rental income. That was the plan. So the biggest surprise is I'm still here running Intelligent Labs 10 years later.
Yeah.
It's still going because it was not expected or planned in any way. And it's been quite nice because of that. Like, one of the reasons I love doing it is I don't know what the next 2, 3, 4 years are genuinely going to be like.
Sure.
Lots of founders, I'm sure, have massive goals and huge plans, and we have ideas, we've things we want to do. But we're going to the Hollow Life Summit in 2 weeks' time to present at a big conference. And that was not something I thought would ever happen
Sure.
until a year or so ago. So being able to have these new experiences, new developments personally and with the business, they're keeping me locked in and helping both of us grow.
Yeah. Good. I understand that you do a lot on Amazon. That's something you and I talked about off air. So how did you land on Amazon being the sort of main route to market?
We started off doing the whole Shopify thing in 2014.
Yeah.
Um, I was learning about drop shipping, and those guys were mostly using Shopify. So I brought that knowledge in to try and make e-commerce sales. It didn't work too well, I have to say. Um, and then at the same time, we also started selling on Amazon. When you're living in Thailand and Phuket and Chiang Mai, certainly in 2014, everyone was doing this. Like I wasn't. If I'd have tried it in the UK, I would have been completely alone. Going to Chiang Mai, there was 500 people
Wow.
there that were doing e-commerce in some way, mostly
all, all,
Shopify.
all kind of doing what you were doing,
Yeah,
and trying to build a slightly different life.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was insane what I found when I was out there. And through talking to these people, a lot of them were running agencies, a lot of them were running their own successful brands. that gave us the spark to go on Amazon.
Yeah.
And going on Amazon kind of changed things a lot because obviously the USA is a huge market, Canada, and then entering Europe, then you have all the different countries.
Yeah, sure.
It caused as much problems as it solved, though. So,
So what's great about selling through Amazon?
um, it's fairly kind of hands off. I see it's a pro and a con. I see a lot of founders on TikTok and, they have like all of their products behind them in boxes and they're packaging them up and sending them to customers. And they've kind of built themselves a 9 to 5 logistics job,
Yeah.
which makes awesome content. So on one side, I'm a little bit jealous that I can't do that.
Yeah.
But on the other side, the pro is Amazon has some of the best logistics in the world.
Yes.
We get everything made to our specifications. We send it into the Amazon warehouses. Robots pick it up, put it off the shelves, put it in
Yeah.
packages and ship it. So I pretty much don't have to worry about any of our logistics or fulfillment problems.
Yeah, it's reliable.
Yeah. And it's cheaper. We've looked at like Royal Mail, DHL.
Yeah.
We've got 3PLs in the UK, and it's painfully cheaper as well.
Yeah. And is that just because they're geared up they're geared up to scale, I guess.
Yeah.
It's their business, isn't it? They've mastered it, if you like.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos is a living, breathing genius,
Yeah.
and pretty much every little thing he looks at, he tries to make it more efficient and also squeeze more profit out of it. So, yeah, private logistics company they've done really well.
Yeah. Do you worry about being over reliant on the platform?
Constantly, that's I don't wake up in cold sweats every morning.
No.
If I did it, that would be the driver.
Yeah.
Um, you know, rightly or wrongly, Amazon asks us to provide yearly paperwork so that there's a chain of trust. Who am I selling these products to people that they're taking? And, if we don't submit the paperwork in time, if we don't submit the insurance in time, they can just turn off an entire country.
Yeah.
And if you build your business, any business on someone else's platform, you don't really own your business. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
so many people doing SEO in like 2010 and onwards
Yeah.
saw their businesses collapse
For
because
sure. Yeah.
Google changed an algorithm. It's the same on Amazon.
Yeah. Any single reliance on any platform partner or whatever leaves you slightly exposed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So going back to the direct consumer side, you did that in the early days. You've then kind of shifted things to Amazon. What have you tried on the direct consumer side so far?
We've done a lot of SEO. Like my technical background's more SEO. We've done a lot of Google ads, Meta advertising, Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
A little bit of TikTok, and we're now trying faceless YouTube
Mm-hmm.
and faceless TikToks. We haven't done any of them to the same depth and scale that really successful people have. I look at brands like Space Goods as benchmarks on what awesome looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're not approaching Space Goods, but I'm taking notes and we're improving and we're putting plans together. A lot of our problems with the whole direct to consumer approach is our choice of products. Some of them are really niche and we shouldn't be putting our products in front of people hoping they buy, if that makes sense, because some are for the genetic conditions and illnesses that the average person doesn't have. Like
Yeah.
a lot of our products you should not buy. And some of them I should not take. So it would be display adverts on Instagram. We're not going to stop someone from scrolling
Yeah.
like that. But we've done that.
Yeah, I guess what you're saying is some of the audiences, but given that they've got conditions, they're quite difficult to reach because
Yeah.
there are no indicators on Meta or Google that would suggest that those individuals have those ailments.
Exactly that. So
Yeah.
we get the doctor referrals, which is good. I know similar brands do. They've got proper sales departments ringing in pharmacies to get their stuff into pharmacies via the retail angle.
Yeah.
But this year is mostly about formulating that product that I can put in front of people in order to get the space goods like B2C consumer experience.
Absolutely. What when we talked off air, you said that the US is massively performing outperforming the UK. Now, given you're a Brit, and obviously I know you started the business when you're in Thailand, so actually arguably it doesn't matter where it is. But why do you think the US has been so successful? Other than the scale of the US, I guess.
It's going to be economic policy is kind of the first one. Like the 2008 crisis, Europe, the UK included, hasn't really recovered. Where you look at North America, USA, Australia, they've carried on growing. So the first thing is the US market, they've got more money. The second thing is regulatory hurdles throughout Europe. There's a cost to everything we do. That's more in the EU than in America.
Yeah.
So we have to have higher prices. So we've got higher prices in a continent where people have less disposable income.
Yeah.
So that hurts.
In a market full of different languages and different regulations.
Yeah, exactly. All the translations, we had one of my favorite European countries is Lithuania. It's a small country, but we just made another sale to Lithuania half an hour ago. So that makes me happier than thousands of sales to America.
What's next in the US then?
That is a good question. We spent all of last year expanding massively into Europe.
Yeah.
As a big thing. For America's where we're doing the real direct to consumer push at the moment with the faceless YouTube, the TikToks and the Meta adverts. So that's the one of the things we've learned over the last 10 years is diversification is good, especially on platforms. But you do also have to focus. So all of our direct consumer stuff is now focused on the US market rather than the UK and Europe.
Yeah, interesting. So in terms of the scaling the team, I mean, where you're in Valencia and you've been in Thailand. What does that look like? Where is everybody?
We've had team members all the way across the world from UK, Portugal, and in Spain, translators in every single European country. And then as far as the Philippines and Japan.
Yeah.
So UK and Japan were our extreme ends. We've always had a office policy of it doesn't really matter where you are, as long as you can work from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the UK time zone. That's our operating rule. So
everybody's on, if you like, during that window.
Exactly that.
How's that work? Yeah, is that work pretty well?
It works amazingly for things like logistics,
Yeah.
where there's a lot of waiting, and stuff happens offline because our manufacturers are in America. So, the logistics team will place a PO, the Americans will reply a day later,
Yeah.
yada, yada, yada. For marketing, it's a lot harder. So our marketing team is UK, Portugal, and Spain. So we've only got an hour difference.
Yeah.
And then the logistics are more in Asia where it's less immediate.
Cool. So going back to the health challenges that you had, how's your, it's a personal question, but how's your health now you're running this business? I mean,
Well,
a lot of business owners are full of stress and full of aggro. How are you managing that yourself?
it is a bit of a challenge. Like life in general is harder now, but one of the perks of the business is it keeps me locked in to focus on my health. Like
Yes, of course.
mini celebration. Yesterday, I'm now 10 years sober.
Congratulations.
And a large part of that is because I've been able to run my own business, dictate my own life and my own hours. And also, a lot of the entrepreneurs through Asia don't drink, which was
Yeah.
unique to me, so that helped. Um, I've got a really good team. So one of the core tenets, the reason it's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., that lets everyone get to the gym in the morning and then get into work.
Cool.
So we've got a core thing around making sure that our team we don't force anyone to do anything. Not
Right.
everyone goes to the gym, but if they want to, they can without issue. So we've a few little policies like that help me as much as it helps them.
Yeah.
I do take the majority of my supplements that we make. I've got some really good doctors that are on top of my case all the time.
Yeah.
So having an unlimited supply of vitamins, that also helps for sure. But in general, things are going very well.
Good. I love I love the fact that you're caring about the team's wellness as well as a priority. I think that's really good. That's
Yeah,
great.
I used to do 24/7 on-call support, and if I was called at 3 in the morning, that meant I couldn't go into the gym the next day. And I always find if I wake up and go to the gym in the morning, my entire day is amazing.
Yeah, sure.
It,
Yeah.
I
So
gonna eat properly, I work really well, everything's good.
yeah.
But if I start my day off on the wrong foot, then the rest of the day kind of
It's downhill.
feel that effect. Yeah.
Excellent, good stuff. So we haven't touched on this, but the as a petrol head, I'm fascinated by the Mongol Rally experience. So, if you wouldn't mind, tell me a bit about how that came about and what the experience was like.
Well, our company name the brand's Intelligent Labs, but the company's Rad1. So I think it was 2012. Russ, Andy, and Dan from Rad. We got a Suzuki Swift, and well, we met up in a club in Brighton. It was 2 in the morning. I was extremely drunk. Andy was like, "Hey guys, do you want to do this Mongol Rally? It's a car race from England all across Europe into Mongolia." And I was like, "Yes. I don't care if my boss will never give me holiday. I will quit. I also can't drive, so I will learn how to drive." It was a very emotional moment at 2 in the morning. And kind of we committed to this Mongol Rally idea. I managed to squeeze 4 weeks of work off my boss, who was awesome. Thanks, John. And then I spent the next 5 or 6 months learning to drive because I'd never driven in the UK before. And finally, we managed to get it all together. My manager at the time, he used to race motorbikes with his family.
Yeah.
So he gave us loads of tips. So he was very instrumental. We did some research. We looked at all of the previous Mongol Rally competitors and discovered that the old school Suzuki Swift was the most reliable car. So if we actually wanted to finish, that was the weapon of choice. So we found, I think it was 10 years old at the time, owned by an old lady, driven to death. Got that. And then, started off in Goodwood, drove across the UK, France, Belgium, all the way down through Croatia into Turkey, drove up through Turkey, Georgia, into Russia. We got pulled over by the police a few times in Russia. My business partner found himself in the back of a police car in handcuffs. Before we bribed them. It was just all about bribes. There was definitely, as soon as you kind of like crossed out of Turkey into Georgia, you needed to have cash on you or electronics in order to bribe the border guards or the police. Then I think from Volgograd in Russia, we passed into Kazakhstan, and we spent maybe 2 weeks driving through Europe into Russia. I'm pretty sure we spent 2 weeks just crossing Kazakhstan. It felt like a country we were never going to get out of because it was just desert and steppe, not 140-kilometer motorways.
The whole thing's it's a month, right? Something is that right?
You can take as long as you want. Some British army guys, they did it. in, I think, less than a week. But they didn't stop driving. There were 4 of them in the car.
Very good.
They rotated, 3 slept, 1 drove. And they just speed ran the entire thing, whereas we kind of partied our way.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, that was phenomenal. I think we did 30 different countries, over 10,000 miles. Um, Eventually made it into Mongolia, drove across Mongolia for 8 days to Ulaanbaatar. It was absolutely phenomenal. One of the things I'm really passionate about is people and teamwork.
Yeah.
And we started off just 3 of us in one car, but by the time we crossed the finishing line, there was maybe 12 cars in a convoy,
Okay.
maybe 30 of us in total, all driving together as a team, looking after each other,
Yeah.
um, lending different bits of expertise
Yeah.
to help each other solve the problem. And we all kind of crossed the finishing line together as well at the same time.
And I guess some of you friends for life, some of those guys.
Yeah, still talk to them.
Yeah.
Wish my friend Dan happy birthday today. And yeah, still chatting with the others every once in a while. They're all scattered around the world now, which is cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Excellent. Good. So, I mean, fascinating story. I had to touch. I had to at least touch on that.
Like, people should do that kind of thing when they can, because I wouldn't be able to do that today. With the diabetes and the insulin, all the money in the world, it would have been impossible.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful I got the opportunity to do that.
Excellent. Well, thanks for that insight into that. I've made some notes, and who knows. So going back to the business, in terms of the priorities for the next 12 months, you touched on them earlier, but just talk me through the main sort of priorities for you and the business right now.
The number one priority is definitely a direct to consumer angle with a new product. So we're we're taking our time to make sure that it's kind of right. Like AG1 kind of have done that really well with the whole drink and the influencer marketing. Um, David Beckham's just released the competitor in red. Let's try the same thing. I forget the brand name. And obviously Space Goods are killing it. So we've identified the market, what we kind of want to tap into, but now we're kind of actually working out what the product's going to be.
Yeah.
And then from that, we'll start the advertising and all the other bits and pieces. So that's the core of it. The rest, we had a big push into Europe last year. So the next 12 months there are mostly about cutting away the losers, maintaining the winners, growing that side as much as possible.
Yeah.
And it's quite exciting. We've reached the point where we really need to hire a CFO, or at least a fractional CFO. So we've been speaking to a few people over the last 6 months, and hopefully we'll be signing an agreement in the next week or so with one of them. So that's a good problem to have, but definitely also a problem.
Good stuff. So you have a tech background. How's your tech background helped, particularly with things like automation and the systems and things like that?
It's a massive benefit and a curse at the same time, because I seem to want to keep coding. I still have this little thing in here. It's like, leave me alone. I just want to code stuff, just do things. So managing that is an issue, but it's been really professionally. It's helped me because I built a SaaS to handle our analytics and metrics when we started, which was acquired by a conglomerate in China, and that money I reinvested that cash into intelligent labs that let us grow a lot faster.
Yeah.
At the moment, we're kind of diving into AI quite hard. So I can script things with ChatGPT, and we're using, do you know NA to N?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're heavily kind of like playing around with that at the moment. And not necessarily the technical background, but understanding technical documentation and being able to learn quickly. That's kind of like really helping right now. The problem is the AI space is moving a lot faster than I am. So
It's insane, isn't it? It really is. It's a bit nuts. It's crazy, really. I mean, I was chatting to somebody a while ago. We started 26 years ago, which
Oh,
was
wow.
1999. So that was like at the start of the sort of first sort of .com boom, if you like.
Mm.
And I thought it was a bit nuts then, but it's insane
Well,
now.
it would have been pioneering then. I remember my first purchase from Amazon was a book because it was just a big bookshop.
It was just books, yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't even sold to me by Amazon. It was sold by a third party because they didn't hold the warehousing. It was just like an advertorial eBay kind of thing. Yeah, like I'm mostly using it for text content at the moment, AI. Um, all of our blog posts are kind of written by a real human, Angie, and she's really good at it. But some of our marketing material, especially for the HoloLife, we can use an AI to put things together.
Yeah,
Um, I've been using Claude a lot. I've been using ChatGPT a lot.
yeah,
There are fun differences between both. Like because we're called Intelligent Labs because we try to be as scientific as possible, and so everything we say um, needs citations. Everything's peer reviewed, etc., etc. Asking ChatGPT to put a white paper together with citations. If we then ask Claude to check that the citations support the paper, Claude will then come back saying, "Oh no, half of these citations do not exist." And then if we pass that feedback back to ChatGPT, it will be like, yeah, I just made this up.
yeah. Oh, yes. Just yeah. You're right. Good spot.
And this is like only in the last few days. This isn't like a year-old
Yeah.
complaint. Whereas if we ask Claude to put the same white paper together with citations and pass that to ChatGPT, it's pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
So like they both have different uses at
Yeah.
the moment.
I guess we're all at the moment we're all still figuring it out, aren't we?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
The scary stuff I'm seeing is the videos that people are making.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a bash myself, and it's nuts. It really is. But
I'm excited to kind of really start growing our D2C side because if we can make AI generated videos, then that would be insane if we can. Because they say that um, a lot of scaling is about testing. Um, what is the right word? Testing the marketing material, I guess.
yeah,
So the quicker you can generate the marketing material, the quicker you can test. And
and
uh,
the cheaper you can generate it as well.
yeah, exactly. And I, I do a lot of photography, and a lot of my friends are photographers, and they A/B test their photos all the time, to know that someone with a red dress is going to outperform someone with a blue dress. So
Yeah.
if you can like test the colors on the clothing the AI models are wearing, like just to get an so many variables can be tested. The creatives, that's the word. So
Mm.
many variables in the creatives can be tested.
Yes.
It's going to be wild.
Yes, it's incredible, isn't it? Really. So looking back, so sort of on reflection, looking back at the last 10 years, what's something that what's something you wish you'd done sooner?
Ooh, done sooner. That's a good one. That's difficult because a lot of what we've done has been evolutionary. So
Sure.
couldn't have we couldn't have launched our Magenhans project in Europe until this year because of regulatory requirements, for instance.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have done that 10 years ago, um, but impossible. I think hiring a COO,
Okay.
that was a big one. We grew organically. Me and my founder, I'd make the labels myself, and
Yeah.
we scaled out the team. But bringing Claudia in, that was fundamental shift.
Yeah.
Attending conferences, it sounds silly, but actually, I'm in Thailand or Europe. We're talking to manufacturers on the phone. There's nothing like actually meeting your manufacturers,
Yeah.
shaking their hands, that kind of thing. So bringing in a more human
Yeah.
element to
It
the
still
business.
works even in this kind of rapidly changing world. It's still
Yeah,
human connection still really important.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I'd realized the problems our product range have with D2C and why sooner. You know, we've spent a lot of money playing with that, and it seems to have taken 10 years for this understanding to kick in. So we could have saved a lot of money and time and hopefully made a lot more if I'd been more aware of that 5 or 6 years ago.
And finally, if you could give yourself one piece of advice to the 2015 version of yourself, what would that be?
Personally, or with respect to the business?
Either, actually.
Um, with respect to the business, probably just double down on the USA and don't bother with Europe. Unfortunately, with respect to myself in 2015, controversial, but don't listen to the vegans.
Oh, I love that. Excellent. Good stuff. Brilliant. On that note, Russ, thank you. It's been absolutely brilliant. I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure.